again, and I say that every week, but I also can't believe that July is almost over. And that means all the Christmas in July stuff is almost over. And I just wanted to show you the 3 trees that I had worked on 2 weeks ago. And I finally got them finished. And I'll just adjust the screen so you can see them. But I did a whitewash on them. Sorry for my hand there. So I think everybody can see them that way. So I was going to use these little pots from the Dollar Tree, and they don't have them anymore because I guess it's kind of out of season. So what I got instead were these little candle holders. They're just like a tea light holder, and it looks like a ball of yarn. So I painted those, and I did a whitewash on the trees, and I think they turned out really good. There's a little bit of that DIY making powder on there as well. But I want to do this for fall for a pumpkin too. I just think it's really a cool look with all the IOD molds. So you can see the 3 different trees. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And in IOD, hang on a second. Oh, before I do that, let me also show you, I worked on the signs a little bit from last week. So I did a little bit of, I put a little chocolate paint in the corners, kind of like as if I were doing an antiquing wax. And then I kind of went over the where the letters went down below. So, and I finished putting the gilding wax on them. So I think the set of 3 of them would be really pretty hanging together. And, you know, you could put these out really any time of year, I think. I like this one a lot. It got a lot of antiquing. I think that one turned out really good. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. And let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. So we'll put the screen up and down here, but so we're going to make a fall sign. We're going to make a porch sitter. So I know it seems crazy to talk about fall when it's been so hot, but if you're not just a crafter, but if you sell your crafts, then you know that you need to be working on those things now and getting prepared if you haven't already been. So lots of people are already working on their Christmas stuff. So this is what we're using. We're using this board that was a cupboard door at one time, and then it was a coat rack. So I filled in all the holes. You can see I used mud, and that's all I did with it so far. So we're gonna do a blend, a fall blend on here, and then we're gonna be doing decoupage tonight. We're gonna do some stamping. We're gonna do some stenciling. We're gonna have all kinds of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're gonna do is paint the sign. So I'm gonna put the screen down so you can see what I'm doing. And boy, I don't think anybody's on yet to guess, but boy, I'd have you guess as to what color I was going to paint with first. One of my favorites, if you know me, you might have guessed this, Sawmill Gravy. That's the one I'm going to start with, but then I'm going to add in all kinds of other colors. So just going to go ahead and get started painting this. And I hope you're all having a good week so far. We had an actual kind of cool day. Still felt hot to me, but we were in the 70s, so that was definitely a cool down. It's still kind of humid though. So I said I had some exciting news. Speaking of IOD, so I told you last week that I was approved to be a stockist. And I actually think that my my merchandise is coming tomorrow. So I'm so super excited about that. And I get to pre-order the beautiful, and I'm not allowed to talk about it, Christmas designs. So, pretty excited about that. So if you're local, you can stop in the shop because I'm closing out the transfers that I have now because you just not like it if you sell a competitor transfer, and I'm okay with that because I really love pretty excited about that. So I don't mind discontinuing the other. But anyway, if you stop in the store, they're half off. I'm not allowed to advertise that either, but it's a closeout, so. And also, if you're local, I'm going to be closed on Saturday, the 30th. So just make a note of that. I'll be doing a post about it. So I'm just covering this whole sign in the sawmill gravy. And then, like I said, I want to do some colorful blending on it. If you come on, say hi. Let me know what you're up to tonight. So yeah, this looks boring at first, but it'll get pretty here very shortly. I'm just going to use the same brush, and I'm just going to get in these different paint colors and just do a blend. I have a mister bottle here so we can really blend the colors together. I'm gonna avoid doing the frame on it at the moment just because I don't want to have to keep lifting it up and stuff. So I hope you're all able to see it. Okay, so here's a good fall color. This is Dixie Belle's Florida Orange. And like I said, I'm just gonna kind of dip my brush in the same brush in the container and just got a little paint crumb there. Okay, so nobody can see that. Can't get my cameras right, guys. Okay. So I probably won't be able to see comments right now if you make a comment because my screens are so far down. So I'm loving the way that's blending. Let's get a little bit more, and I'm going to grab the mister bottle because it's paint really dries fast in the heat. Even though I said it cooled down, it's still too warm to me. Okay, so this is getting a real pretty color. Okay, and I'm also going to use some Colonel Mustard from Dixie Belle. Real pretty golden yellow. Again, same brush. And, I know that you shouldn't do that because you contaminate your paint. But, you know what? It's my paint, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, I like the way that looks, but I'm just going to use the mister bottle and I just want a soft blend of these colors, but I want them to be vibrant though, because after all, the colors of fall are very vibrant, so that's kind of what we want to see. Just get a little bit of it up in this corner up here. And again, I'm going to use the mister bottle. I know you guys can't see that right now, but I'm blending in these fall colors here. This is a big sign, so it's kind of hard to move the screen around for this because it's right in front of me and I can't really reach the screen, so bear with me. But I'll try to show you as I go along. So I think it's looking really pretty. And then I also have Barn Red, we're going to be using some dark colors on the lettering. So, okay, my barn red's a little dried up, so I'm going to spray some water in it. We'll get a little color out of it. I'll just come in here and add to it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more in there because I don't really want it to look pink. I want it to be red, but I also want to be able to see our letters. So there we go. Get a little bit of that red in there. And try not to water it down too much. Get some up here in this corner. And again, I'll lift it up so you can see it. Get a little misting. I'm just going to do a little bit of just brushing in that center part just to get the colors all blended. Okay, I'm happy with that, and I'm going to show you what I've got. So we've got some yellow and some red and some orange. Beautiful fall colors, right? Okay, I'm going to use the hairdryer a minute. I'm going to get the lids on my paint. So that's all the more painting we're going to do. So mainly we're going to be doing lettering and decoupage. And we're going to be using a napkin for decoupage. And I'm going to show you a little trick with that. But we're going to dry this sign first. So yeah, I can't believe school starts in like 3 weeks or something. Almost, yeah, 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, I've got these little crumbs in my paint, which I don't really want, so I'm trying to get them out. I'm just going to go over where I touched it. Okay, so I'm going to get the heat gun and give this a little dry. The table. Okay, that's pretty well dry. I'm going to set it aside. First, I have to go get my napkins again because they blew across the table. So hang on a second. Okay, they were literally falling leaves. Okay, so I'm going to set this down a second. It's not quite dry, so I might have to work on that just a little bit more. I'm going to put this up a second. I feel very disconnected from you. There we are. Okay. So I have this napkin here, and it's just a fall napkin. I forget to pack them. Smart Living. I don't know what store Smart Living is, if that's, I think that's Martin's. So I guess they came from Martin's. And when you do decoupage, sometimes the napkins are 2-ply, sometimes they're 3-ply. I'm actually doing a napkin decoupage project, and the napkins are 3-ply, but I'm only taking apart the 1-ply because it's too flimsy if I don't. So you just kind of separate the corner. I think these are just 2-ply napkins. Probably says on the package. Yeah, 2-ply. Okay. But just pulling the napkin apart. Okay, and I'm going to continue doing this because I want to show you a little trick. You may or may not know this if you've done decoupage with napkins, or even with decoupage paper. This works too. It's just an easier way rather than cutting out. And when you take these apart, keep this. We're going to do a project with these sometime, and I know that sounds really weird, but you stamp with these, and then you put them on bottles and stuff. It's an easy way of doing that when you can't quite stamp around the jar. Most of them are flexible, but that's kind of a help. So if you want to try it that way, that's something different to do. You might get a wrinkled look on it. I'm really warm. I might have to turn the air conditioner on, but my leaves will be falling. So there's writing on here, and I don't want the writing. I just want the leaves. So let me show you. I'm going to put the screen down again. Let me show you the trick. And all you need is a paintbrush that's been in water. Okay, so let's say I want this oak leaf down here. So I just trace the leaf with the paintbrush that I have dipped in water. Just go all around the leaf, and I re-wet it every now and then because you definitely want it wet. Depending on, you know, what the design is, you might want to get kind of far away from it because you can sort of trim it too. And then I also kind of like draw a little bridge to the edge of the napkin there. Okay, so then that's where you start, and you're just going to tear the napkin and just carefully keep your fingers on the image that you're cutting out, and then just pull the rest away. Now I think the black edge on these is kind of neat. I think it's going to make it stand out. And a little bit of the letter, I don't think is going to be noticed as a word. I think it just looks like a design in the background. So I'm not getting too stressed out about it. But what you can do is wait until these little things dry. And then if you want to take your scissors and trim away any extra areas, you can. I did that with the ones that I cut out. So I'll show you what I did. Okay, so there's an oak leaf. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for now, and these are the ones that I cut out. And what I did was the ones that were on the edge of the napkin, I left the straight line because I'm going to put them on the edge of the sign. Okay, so I'm going to be using Dixie Belle Clear Coat in satin, and I'm going to be using the Foam and Dandy brush. This is a 1.5 inch brush. So I'll let that guy dry because I'll be using him. So again, this sign is going to be up and down, okay, the long ways. I wish there was a better way for me to do this, but this is my setup, and I guess we'll just have to manage, right? And again, I'm gonna have to use the hairdryer a little bit more because I don't think I'm completely dry. And I also feel like I didn't get all of my cutouts, but we're going to make do here with whatever we've got. Okay. One more time. Okay, I tried to focus especially on the outside edge. I still have a little that's a little bit wet in the middle, but okay, so let's look at our designs. Okay, here's a flat one. So I'm going to put these flat ones along the sides. I think I might do that one over here on this yellow. What do you think? You can see that. Still a tad wet over here, but we're going to have to be real careful because these napkins just are super delicate. So, I could have sworn I had some more that were flat-sided. I see some more over there. Hang tight. They really blew around. Okay. So yeah, here's another flat one. And another flat one. Good. So each side has flat, and we'll just kind of move those around, and then these will just kind of add in. So let's get started with our decoupage. So we're going to do a phrase, and the original phrase, because I looked up some phrases, and I didn't want to do the happy fall y'all thing. So one of the ones I saw was, but I like fall most of all. And I thought, well, I don't need the but. So I thought just I like fall most of all. But then I thought if you have it on a porch like a family, you're going to want it not to just say I. So I decided to just have the sign say we like fall most of all. So, of course, I guess if you live by yourself, I would be appropriate, but maybe there's a dog or a cat in the house as well. So okay, so you just kind of paint the surface with the clear coat, and then you lay the napkin down and just coat that with clear coat. And my napkins are wrinkly, and that's okay with me. I'm fine with that. Okay, so I'm going to try to put this so you can see. There we go. Just going to do this area here. And if it gets in our okay, it's not quite up against the side. You have like a minute that you can pick it up, but I want that to be right up against the side there. Just trying to get it laid out with my hands here. Okay, and I wanted to get it to go down this little ledge here. Okay, good. I like to kind of brush out from the center and just make sure all the edges are nice and flat. Okay, you guys can see that. Okay, so let's get our other ones on the other edges. I'm going to do this one up at the top. Originally, I had them inside the frames, but then I thought it might interfere with some of our lettering, like with that black edge on there. The letters are going to be black, so I thought we'll just put them on this outside frame. And I'm really liking the way this is looking. Okay. Let's get this one on here. Move you guys this way. Get it on the edge. Like I said, with napkin decoupage, wrinkles are kind of part of it because it's such thin material that you're working with. So here's what we've got so far. So let's do a few random leaves here. So we're gonna have it say we like fall most of all. So we have a little area here, little area here that it's not going to quite go into. So I think let's do that one here. Need to turn you again. So we're doing this one right here. Okay. My gosh, such noises outside. Up on the, not on my street, but like there's a, not a, it's like there aren't a lot of homes along the street. It's just kind of a throughway and it goes back to the campus. And it sounds like the speedway sometimes. And then the night neighborhood dogs get started. Mine's being really good. He's laying under the table. I think he likes Tuesday talk. I've found sometimes that like kind of pouncing at the napkin is a little bit better than dragging it because the dragging it can kind of tear the napkin. And if you do tear the napkin, just, you know, you can, with something like this, you can just kind of bring it back in a little bit. And then once this is dry, then we'll clear coat this again too. Okay, so put you back this way a minute, and we've got a couple other oak leaves. So again, I don't really want to have it under the lettering, but so it's we like, and then fall most of all. So let's put this down in the corner here. We'll kind of make it half on and half off there. So once my IOD comes, then, because it's going to take me a little minute to get it arranged, And then that means that I can now plan for classes. So I am so excited about that. I have so many cool things in mind for you guys. So if you're local, who knows, we might do some online classes or something as well. We did some of those when COVID was rearing its ugly head at first in 2020. Okay. So that's what we've got so far. Gonna hold it up like this, and we're gonna get started on our lettering. So let me kind of show you the layout. So we're using these stencils again. We're using a couple different sets. So we're using this, this is called Swoosh. Okay, so it's the script stamp and the larger letters. And then we're also using some Jrv Stencils. I'm gonna put my, okay, we're using Jrv Stencils. I think these are Farmhouse. So these are kind of nice because they're easy to space out. So again, I always try to make it so you guys can see everything. So I'm laying those letters there. The we, that's best. We like. Okay, so we can bring this in a little bit. L, I, K. Then our E is going to go over that. Maybe we'll bring it over here a little bit more. Okay. Can you hear my dog drinking? It's killing me tonight. Okay, so fall is going to go here. And so there's only one L in it, so we have to come back for that. I'm going to move it over because I want to make sure it fits. And perhaps I should dry some of that decoupage clear coat before we move on with this. I hate to run the hairdryer again. Okay, so there's that. And then this is the most or best of all. That E we keep using. We're going to have to come back to that. So B-E-E-S-T. And then the of is from a different stamp set. That is from, this one is called block type. Okay, so this has all kinds of cool little words that you would see on a sign, like per, of the, and, from, you know, just it makes the signs just a little bit more interesting. And perhaps we might even play with the Belle, belly, and what's it called? Alpha Bellies stamp. And that one is full of the designs that you put on the letters. But let's get our letters laid out first. I'm going to have to move fall up a little bit, I think. Fall's being moved up. Okay, and okay, this is a brand new stamp, so I conditioned it with sandpaper. So you just always want to go back and forth a little bit when they're brand new. It just gives it some tooth, okay? And then it looks like we'll have plenty of room for all. Yeah, that'll kind of rest down at the bottom, I guess. So looks like we have just enough room. So I say we get started with our stenciling first. and then we'll do do a little stamping. Or maybe we should get the stamping out of the way. Indecision. I want to put these letters so they really look like script. You want to keep in mind where the bottom is. Like you could easily put this L down here, but you wouldn't write like that. You would have it even with the bottom of the A. So keep those things in mind when you're positioning the letters. Okay, so we can use this clear mount. Now I hope my pieces are clean enough to do this, because I just used them and they don't always want to stick if they're not clean. Okay, that one doesn't want to stick. So let's just get this on for space purposes, and then we'll fill that in. So one of the reasons I'm so super excited to get my IOD in is because I've been using this archival ink, which is fine for some things, but it's not good for these furniture pieces. If you get it wet, it smears. Or if you try to seal it, you want to get rid of this. You don't want that to go on your thing. So I've been spray sealing it, but I'll be so glad to get the Iron Orchid Designs stamps ink. It's just, you can seal it and everything. So that's, I'm excited. All right. Where my A is right now, I see it. Okay. So once you lay it down, you don't want to move it around. Whether you guys can see this or not. Move it down a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave these on here because we're going to be doing the all down at the bottom. So let me fill in, well, I'm going to have to take the other L off. So I'm going to fill in the A. So let me get that stamped. And this color I'm using is called Black Soot. And again, these inks are really, I love them when I do our jewelry. And watercolor goes right over it and it doesn't run with that. But any kind of sealer or paint, it wants to run. Okay. Gonna very carefully put this back down here because I didn't get a great impression, but that's okay. We can always go over it too, but I like the distressed look as well. Okay, so I'm gonna grab that other L and stamp it. And now, speaking of ink smearing, I didn't quite have that sealer dry there, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. But you know what? We'll find out. There we go. I think we're okay. Okay, so let me, I have a stencil brush here, And we're going to use Anchor. Okay. Facebook. Let me see if I can move you a little bit more. And move this a little bit so that we can get up here. Okay. I always have to touch my hand there so I can see if the camera is getting it. Okay, and you know when you stencil, you use very, very little paint. So I'm putting the paint on and I'm just offloading most of it. So these stencils are nice because they have this outside edge to them that you can just kind of position and butt right up against each other, and it automatically spaces your letters for you. And I am using the trick that Zeb and Jamie always tell you to do, and that's to write your letters on the stencil. It makes it so much easier to identify them in the pack. And I sat today and made sure they were in alphabetical order, because sometimes I get, you know, creating and I don't always put things back the way they should be put back or wash things properly. So I'm really trying to be better about doing that stuff. So much nicer having this big workshop now. Because it used to be I'd do like a bunch of projects and then I'd clean everything up, and now it's like I tend to clean up more after my projects, so because I have better storage. So okay, so I'm gonna pull these up. Okay, so we have a we, and we're gonna need this E again. So let's kind of pull this over a little bit. Let's start this L right here. We can move this over. And our E is gonna go here. Okay, that's gonna work out. All right. I need a little more paint. Like I said, you do not want a lot of paint on your brush. The reason being is that it will seep underneath the stencil and cause it to bleed, and you won't have a crisp image. And I find that pouncing with these is better than like swirling, because you do run the risk of getting the brush underneath the stencil when you swirl it. So again, these are Jrv Stencils or Jamie Ray Vintage. Okay. Let's get our letters pulled up here carefully. Okay, and again, we're going to be using this E again. So here's what we've got so far. We like fall. And then we're going to be doing best of all. So I think what I want to do is spell all, because I kind of want to get that out of the way. Just for spacing purposes, because I think we're going to have to move this up a little. And that up a little bit, because I didn't want it resting right on the bottom there. Okay, so I'm going to work backwards and just start with my L. And then I have one other stamping thing that I want to do. Like I said, I don't know whether we're going to fool around with the alpha bellies tonight or not, because there's a technique to doing that, masking, and I haven't really tried it myself yet. So I want to do a little research before I show you guys how to do it. Or do it in front of you. Some of you probably have already done it. And you're experts. And I would embarrass myself. And it is kind of more of a floral thing anyway, so I don't know if it's really appropriate for this application. Some of them are not floral. And there's some that are more leaves too, which fall and leaves go hand in hand. Who knows? Maybe we'll get it out and try it. Depending on our time. We're already at 46 minutes. Time flies sometimes, but I was bound and determined to do a project that we were going to finish tonight. Okay, and I've got my A here. So these are all going to kind of rest in the same place at the bottom. Kind of glad there was a little bit of black around the edges of those leaves. I think it makes it kind of interesting. And we can also go back in with some paint too and do a little bit more. Because this is kind of pastel-y colors. We can make them a little more vibrant, but I just wanted to see what we had going on. I also wanted the leaves to pop too. So, okay, so let's do the best of all. Maybe we should do the of next. Let's go ahead and do that. This is so fun. I do have one other stamp though we're going to add a little interest to the edges with. We have the Krakalura Stamp. And I do have some brown, I have the chocolate color paint too, and we can sort of go in around the edges too and give it a vintage look. Okay. You can keep the backing on these stamps if you want. If it makes it easier, you can cut them apart and leave them on the backing. These are so cute. I love that. That just makes it so much more interesting rather than, you know, using the same font. So, okay, so now we can do our best. I'm going to get our E back in place here. That, you know, really helps you to keep everything straight too. You can put a straight edge underneath it if you want, or, you know, just kind of eyeball it like I'm doing here. Back to our stencil brush and offload. A little more paint. Maybe a little more paint. Okay, my S is a little crooked. Okay. Kind of messed up my B a little bit because I had a trouble lifting it up. It's not too bad though. Plus, we can always go over it with a little sandpaper when it's dry. And I am going to dry it a little bit because I want to use that Krakalura stamp. My leaves aren't going to fly now. Okay, so I'm gonna put the screen up a minute. Easier said than done. And then I'm gonna hold the sign up so you can see what we've got so far. So we like fall best of all. Okay, still looks a little pastel, so we want to give it a little more age. I'm gonna get my brushes put away here so they don't all dry up here. So they're coming out with a new, well, it's already out. I'm getting it tomorrow. I've had this stamp here for a while. I'm going to show you in a second, the Krakalura stamp. And I think they have that still, but they came out with another one that has a bunch of different textures on it. So this one is well worn. I've used it on countertops and everything else. So we're going to use it a little bit and give it a crackly look. And we're going to use this ground espresso color. So we're going to use a brown. And again, I'll put the screen down here. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of use sections of this. Just going to put it there. You can see I've used all kinds of different colors and everything on it. I can't even really see where I'm stamping. Oh, that's cool. So obviously I know you can't see that yet, but I'm gonna try to get some close up to you so you can see it. I kind of want to do this all over. And I'm just going to hold it up so you can see. Can you see the little crackle there? So that gives it a little bit of an aged look. So I'm going to continue to stamp and crackle. Just kind of move along this frame here, and it doesn't have to be a large area, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just really random. And you don't have to restamp it every single time. Sometimes it'll come out later. They have another texture, it's called Distressed. That one's cool too. Then there's Marble. I've used a lot of these in the past. I'm just beyond thrilled to get my stuff and get offering it to people and have it in-house. There's some gorgeous transfers, and of course I'm in love with the paint inlays, and as a matter of fact, you'll want to subscribe to the Iron Orchid Design channel if you haven't already. Sally and Jesse are a hoot when they do these videos, and they show you, as a matter of fact, I saw there's one they're doing a nursery sign, and since we're going to have another grandbaby, really cool inlays, the paint inlays, to do, they use the chintz. So we're just going to have so much fun. T-shirts and jeans and everything we're going to be doing. And classes. And I think the jeans, I just really want to do a stamped denim class. And then a t-shirt one and onesies. Okay, so we kind of have some random crackle all over the place. We can't go over it more and do more. Do a little bit more in this corner over here. I just love this effect. It just makes it look old and a little worn. Okay, so I'm not completely satisfied yet. I'm going to hold it up a minute again so you can see what we've got. Okay, so we like fall best of all. And I'm just going to get the chocolate color, and we're going to get a small brush. Put the lid on my stamps here. Let's see. Okay, just going to use a small brush. I'm going to spray a little bit in the corner, just a little bit of that paint on my brush. And because I kind of have it wet here, actually going to take that napkin that I said we could save. And I'm just going to, run this along here. I just want to be careful not to get what I stamped, because like I said, it tends to run. I'm not so worried about the crackle as much, but I don't want to mess up the letters at all. So I can just do that. I don't have to wet it. I can wet my brush too. But I do like to get the corners. You guys can't see. Just add some age to it. A little bit misting in the corner there. And we're almost done with this. Just misting that brush again because I don't really want to misting carefully over here. Okay, love the way that looks. And we can still go for just a little bit more. I'm just going to take that stamp pad and just use it around the edges here a little bit. I was thinking I had that bigger one here. I think I do. Yeah, I have this bigger one. This is the vintage photo color, and it's a bigger stamp. So I'm just using this along the edge a little bit and just giving us a little color there. And I really like the way that looks too. And I'll show you a close-up here in a second. Really like to get those corners. You know, I'm thinking I'm leaving these. I'll show you the sides of it. It was turquoise before. I think we're just gonna, I think you can see it on the screen right now, I believe. I think we're just gonna leave that turquoise. I think it's kind of cool. It just gives it a little extra interest. But see what we did in the corners there? So you can see on the inside, added the paint, and then on the outside we added the stamp pad. So I can't believe we've been on an hour, but we actually completed a project tonight. So I think it looks pretty cool, and I will be posting. Let me put the screen up again here. All right. There we go. I'll be posting a picture of the completed sign on the Instagram page, as well as the completed, sorry, I messed up Facebook there for a minute, as well as the completed Christmas in July projects we did, the signs and also the trees. So thanks so much for joining tonight, and we do have so much more in store. I can't wait to do explore all these products and do these classes. So thanks so much for joining, and we'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.